Welcome back, everybody, to Jenna Marie's channel. Sorry about my hair. I needed to do a video because I wanted to talk about pros and cons from, I guess you could say that both of these sides are narcissistic and unhealthy in some ways. I wanted to talk about the pros and cons of the relationship I was in for about 4 years, my baby daddy. I wanted to talk about those pros and cons, and then I want to talk about the relationships I've had after and the relationship that I am in now, unfortunately, that is turning into a no-good narcissistic behavior. I wanted to bring up my 4-year relationship with my daughter's father, and I wanted to bring up the pros and cons with that. These pros and cons will be a little bit different because I'm not in a relationship with him, but they are almost the same when I was in a relationship with him. So I wanted to bring that out to you all. And then when I get on the next one, I will explain a little bit more about that piece. Sorry, I had to kind of fix my hair so I would look a little bit more presentable when I'm speaking about this. So I did write this down. Unfortunately, I initialed it R, and then the other one I initialed it M. Don't want to give out the names, but the pros for the R section for my 4-year relationship with my baby daddy, the pros are: made a memory and have a child together, respected me and my family, was kind to me, listened to my feelings without yelling at me even if I yelled at him, didn't have to be right all the time to make me feel worthless, never kept the fights going, told me I am beautiful if he knew that that's what would help my mood, but wasn't mad at me for it. He didn't keep things from me. It was always positive and honesty. And he did take some blame for his actions. His cons were his addiction got in the way of our relationship, led to fights and physical fights, led to trust issues and disrespect from both sides. His addiction just made things more complicated. His addiction seemed to be more important, calling me names but never kept prolonging the arguments to get worse. And his addiction was the cause of our arguments and our fights. Those are his pros and cons. And when you actually do pros and cons, you know, from a relationship to a relationship, you will actually then begin to actually know what is actually, you know, weighing you down. So, you know, you're going to find out which pros and con list from your ex relationships at all. You're going to begin to know, wow, you know, this actually, you know, my ex relationship wasn't as bad as the one I'm in now. And that's kind of what I want to bring up is that is kind of what I'm going through right now. And I want to get to it. So when I just read you the pros and cons for my ex-baby daddy, now we're going to go into the M, and we are going to go into the current situation I am now in. And you will actually begin to be like, I can see a big difference with this. I was trying to pause, sorry. All right, sorry, I'm not really good at all this. I just had it written down and I wanted to do a video for you all. So the pros from this situation is he's there for me. He's there for me when he is in the mood. Sometimes he makes me feel like I'm a good person or a woman. Sometimes. Nice when he wants to be. Caring when he wants to be. Puts me first when he wants to put me first, and respects me when he wants to respect me. Do you see the difference between those pros and my ex-pros? I see a big difference. All right, so now cons. He isn't faithful, always blaming, hurting my family emotionally, even myself. Feel like I am trapped because his behavior lacks of kindness, calling me names when mad, hardly ever forgiving, doesn't take responsibility, not dependable, doesn't look out for what's best for me or my interest, seems pushy to get what he wants, or if not, he will use it against you. Me. Talks down to me. He's judgmental, makes it my fault, doesn't help me with much financial, blames me saying I'm controlling him from finding a job, doesn't spend time with me, but then asks me, we never do anything together, brings up every past issue, doesn't care about my feelings. Does he actually love me and want me? He avoids me most of the time, and he's on his phone way more than he spent time with me in our relationship. So, I really thought that I would give this guy a chance. I really thought that I would tell him that we could be together, that we could try it out, because he's been wanting to try it out with me for a long time. And that's where the struggle hits on, because you sit there and you tell this person you don't want to be with this person because of how they are and how they act and their behavior. Their pros and cons show it right then and there, and these pros and cons are way more worse than my ex relationship. I actually thought that it wasn't, but now that I'm actually reviewing it now, this pro and cons, the one that I'm in right now, is destroying me and wearing me down to pieces. I mean, it's really hard to get up. It's really hard to do things that you enjoy doing. It's really hard when you are put on a pedestal and you literally feel like you are a slob, or you are, a piece of crap. When you feel like you're a piece of crap because you're being put down by these guys that are narcissistic or just unhealthy, always immature, being not mature, not taking your feelings into consideration, making you feel like you're the problem. I mean, all we want is honesty. That's all we ever want. And we always say we want honest and respect. And if that person cannot give it, then you literally need to remove yourself. And maybe that's hard for you, because it is going to be hard for a lot of people to remove themselves if they love a person, or they literally felt attracted, or they got attached somehow. They will feel, it will be pain. It will be painful to really remove yourself from that tragic, narcissistic, unhealthy ways, and it is very, very hard, because it is the struggle. And I wanted to bring this up and do a video about pros and cons and wear my struggle shirt, because it is needed. And I don't care what I look like. If I am not as all presentable right now, I feel like the need that I need to put my voice out here, because you can have pros and cons, and it can outweigh the other person. And it's like, you broke up with that person for a reason, or they broke up with you, right? But you're in another relationship, but twice worse than you were before. So it's like, you don't pick and choose that relationship, but you allow it to keep happening, and you allow it in your life to keep around. And I should listen to my own advice, right? I should really listen to my own advice. But at the same time, it is really harder to listen to your own advice rather than give it and have the other person receive it and, listen to you, or take your advice or whatever. It's really, really hard to dictate and determine what your life's going to be, But if a guy is going to sit there and treat you like crap and blame you and not being dependable and not being affordable and put you down and doesn't care about your feelings and spend time a lot on his phone or wherever else he spends his time at, he's not putting you first. Even though he sits there and says he is putting you first, he's not putting you first. He sits there and says, oh, this and this and this, and then the name calling starts, or the physical fights start, or you think he's not being faithful, or maybe she's not being faithful, or, maybe blaming starts to happen. Maybe, things get too pushy, and maybe it's their way or the highway, and you try to literally get them to respect you, but they don't want to respect you. So, I mean, it's those things that you don't want in your life. And, you know, even if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or an ex-boyfriend or an ex-girlfriend that were toxic at one point and they do have an addiction problem, don't use that against them. You know, I use that against, you know, my baby daddy, and I thought that, you know, maybe our relationship was crap because of it. Yes, it was. It was complicated and it was crappy. But at the same time, what I really want to go through with these pros and cons with this guy that I'm with, or would I want to be around someone that I have a child with, and yeah, he may have an addiction problem, but why not help him through it? Why did I criticize or judge him? You know, because I did, and I really do regret that. I did judge and I did criticize, and I feel like maybe sometimes you get, your life repays you back from what you've done to another person, but you don't really choose your life. I mean, you do in a certain way, but you don't. You allow yourself to keep choosing it that way if you want it that way. But I don't want anyone to be in pros and cons, right, that are horrible, and they don't literally make you feel good about yourself, because they make you feel blah and slobby. They make you feel crappy and horrible. They make you feel like you are in a struggle daily, in and day out. And, you know, especially when they hurt your family emotionally, or they sit there and they say, your family's doing this and your family's doing that, or your family's blaming me, or whatever they say. It has nothing to do with that. If your family's sitting there saying this person isn't right for you because of the disrespect that they give you, then I'm pretty sure your family is right and sticking up for you, and you need to listen to them. You know, sometimes like I'm dealing with that right now, but, you know, I do listen to my family and I do respect my family and what they say and what they tell me. Sometimes they don't know because they're not in what I'm dealing with, so they don't know exactly what's going on. But if they're telling me, you know, if they're trying to talk to this guy, you know, that I'm with or whatever, if they're trying to talk to him and nothing's being really accomplished or resolved because there's bickering back and forth, and, you know, the man sat there and said, oh, well, you know, your family blames me or hates me. No, my family doesn't hate you or blame you. They dislike what you're doing to me, but they don't hate you. Just like my ex-boyfriend, the one that has the addiction problem. They never hated him. They never did hate him. And my mom and my family is like 100% full-blown Christians, and I respect that out of them. And when a person sits there and says your mom's lying, or your stepdad's lying, or your family's lying, then that hurts me, because my mom and my family, you know, doesn't hate anyone. Obviously, I do believe in God, and I am a Christian in some ways, but I'm the kind of person that you would have a problem with of me forgiving you or me hating you. But I don't try to hate people. I really don't. That's why I do YouTubes, because I love to reach out to people. I love to help them out in ways, because it is a struggle. And if you deal with the struggle with, you know, different relationships that are very, very abusive, you need to get out of it. You need to get out of it. Well, I wanted to come on here to do a video a little bit to talk about pros and cons and what are the differences of pros and cons to want to have in your life. The addiction pros and cons from my ex-boyfriend. Yeah, like I said, these pros and cons are, you know, good and bad. But at the same time, the one that I am in a situation now is more worser. It's more destroying, because I have to deal with it, and I have to deal with it all the time, and I got to take down, not take down. I have to take it. Like, I literally have to take it from the guy. You know, I say the guy because I don't feel like me and him are in a relationship anymore, and I really don't feel the need to express the name because I want to be respectful. But at the same time, it's just, you know, it's just very, very difficult. Sometimes you need to just stand tall, sit up tall, and figure out what you need in your life. I will be doing more videos here shortly. I just wanted to come on here to do pros and cons, because I need to figure out and share with all of you what I should do. If you got any advice for me at this point what I should do. But at the same time, I'm trying to give you guys advice as well. You know, when I'm coming on here and trying to tell you this is what you should do or try to do, but now I'm like coming on here asking you guys what should I do and try to do. Because I've tried everything in my power to make this work. And I've tried everything in my power to actually, you know, not have arguments. And it's like my best friend's involved. And it's like, you know, the battling back and forth between me losing my best friend because of this guy is not what I want. Is not what I want because, you know, he's in the way, you know, and my life's in the way. So like remove things that are in the way that are troubling or a struggle, ladies or guys, just do it, because if not, you're going to end up worse and you're going to be in it, fighting it, battling it for years, or for a long time. All right. Like, comment, and share, and this Jenna Marie will be back for more videos. I love all of you, and know your worth. Don't let them control you. Especially, don't let them control you and use everything against you. Peace. Stay strong.